Have you ever declared a cleaning day, but then been so overwhelmed by the amount of work you actually had to do that the only thing you ended up accomplishing was binge watching an entire season of the Great British Baking Show? That used to be me until a little tomato changed everything. Good morning. I am Maggie. Welcome to my channel. This morning I am having English breakfast tea with honey and vanilla in my favorite Disney princess mug. I am a procrastinator. I have never met a task that I didn't think would be better done tomorrow than today, especially if that thing is house cleaning, which I hate. But I'm also a procrastinator on things I like. I like to think that my procrastination puts me in the same class as geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci, who was such a procrastinator that his benefactor had to threaten him once with bankruptcy in order to get him to finish a commission. Or like the famous author, Douglas Adams, whose publishers locked him in a hotel room for 3 weeks to get him to finish a book. One of my favorite quotes comes from him, which is, "I love deadlines. I love the whooshing sounds they make as they fly by." But I can't tell you how many nights I've had to work late to finish up a task that I didn't do earlier, or how many mornings I spent frantically cleaning the house on the same day as a party because I didn't get the job done earlier. My procrastination and my lack of focus have really created a lot of stress in my life. Now, what does all this have to do with a tomato? Well, I discovered the Pomodore Technique. So the Pomodore Technique was created in the 1980s by a student, Francesco Cirillo, who was having trouble focusing on his studies. And he said to himself, let me just focus for 10 minutes. So he went into the kitchen, he got a kitchen timer, which happened to be in the shape of a tomato. Italian is Pomodoro, and thus the Pomodoro Technique was born. Now, he later, I think, created a 100+ page book about it, but really the concept is quite simple. This graphic from the website How Stuff Works gives a really good overview of the technique. You decide what tasks you need to complete. You set the timer for 25 minutes. You work on your task until the timer rings. You take a short 5-minute break, and you repeat this 4 times. And at the end, you schedule yourself a longer break, like 15 to 30 minutes. I actually discovered this method not because of my procrastination, but because I was struggling with back pain and trying to get things done around the house. And I was Googling something like complicating housework with chronic pain. And I came up with this Pomodoro method. And basically, I employed it by using a 10-minute on, 10-minute off technique, literally. I set a timer for 10 minutes. I did work for 10 minutes. And by that time, my back was screaming. And I sat down for 10 minutes and then on and on and on. And I remember that first day I worked for 2 hours. Now, mind you, half of the 2 hours was me sitting in my rest periods, but I was blown away by the amount of work I got done in those 2 hours with a 10-minute on and 10-minute off. I focused on it. It was a short enough time that I didn't get distracted. And I got so much done where previously I would have given up and turned on the TV and been done. So I've been using it ever since, and this was several years ago. Now, I also use it for work. For instance, in my reselling business, I will set it, I'll do the 25-5 method. There's a lot of apps out there for this. I use an app on my phone called Brain Focus. So it kind of does the time, it sets the timers and the intervals for you. I sit down at my desk, I set the timer, I work for 25 minutes on creating a listing. I take that 5-minute break, and during the 5-minute break, I might check my email, I might go on Facebook, I might get up and walk around, I might go to the refrigerator and get a drink, something like that. And it even works well for differing tasks. So in my business, I might create listings, I might do some cross-posting, I might do some repricing on books I have listed for sale on Amazon, I might do inventory. So I can create, the first 25 minutes, I'm going to do this, the second 25 minutes, I'm going to do that, the third 25 minutes, that. And it allows me to get a variety of tasks done, where before I might have focused on one and struggled and got distracted, and then ended up getting not even that one task done, much less others that I had to do. There's a Portuguese proverb that says, think about many things, do one. And that perfectly describes the Pomodore Technique. It really helps me focus on one task at a time and get so much more done than I ever would have thought possible. Have you ever used the Pomodore Technique? If you have, I'd be interested to see how it works for you. And if you haven't, give it a try. If you struggle with productivity, you never know. It might help you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you so much.
Oh, life is wonderful.